Good afternoon and welcome to Freewheeling. I am Siddharth Vinayak Partnkar, and it is great to be back on the show with you because we have yet another very special guest who's lined up, all set to join us actually. And one thing I will say is that having covered the automobile industry for so many years, the good thing is that not only do you get to drive all the cool cars and ride all the nice bikes, but the more important thing, you also tend to make some great friends. And I have to say that the person who's joining me today is someone I've known for many years, and I am very happy to welcome onto the show then Vinod Dasari, who's the CEO at Royal Enfield. Good afternoon, Vinod.
Thank you, Siddharth. Very nice introduction also.
Now it's great to see you, really. And I know we were talking about this offline just before the show started. That it's been just over a year now that you've been at Royal Enfield, and we
Yes,
haven't met physically. Like we haven't actually, caught up in person because I know that for you it's been an extremely busy time, and we'll get to all of that. But no, I'm thrilled to see you. So thank you, firstly, for making the time.
yeah, my pups have joined me, so ignore that.
Okay, I mean we don't mind meeting them, of course, as well. Do you,
So
let's. Oh,
they'll distractions.
they're labs or golden retrievers, from whatever
Yeah,
little. Okay, I just see a little bit of tail right now. There they go. There's two of them.
two of them.
All
I'll
right.
put this camera back on. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, I think.
Is this okay?
Well, they're welcome back anytime. No, but so again, thank you for the time today. I know you're still on work from home, and so all the more reason letting us into your home in a sense. So appreciate that. We've got lots of people joining us. The way the show works, of course, as you know, live format for the sake of all this great interaction. So thank you to all our live viewers, and yeah, many of them are, of course, saying hello to you as well.
Thank you. Good to be on the show. New way of doing this.
It is. Maybe the new normal, as we've all been
Yeah,
saying. It's a huge
absolutely.
cliche, but it's true. So let me start with a cliched question then. The current situation, it's crazy, unimaginable, and yet something that all of us are dealing with and have to deal with. At Royal Enfield, where do things stand right now?
Well, first and foremost, you look at this as a crisis and say, how do I uh, respond to this crisis? So, if I separate out the things that we have to do to protect the company, and I'll leave that part aside, we look at the entire ecosystem. To build a sustainable company, we always look at the entire ecosystem. So, start from the customer. What can we do to keep the customer engaged? So, a whole bunch of stories and all that. So, this pup is bothering me in a go away. So,
What are their names?
Lilo and Arya. So both girls from the same litter. Very energetic.
So
They
they're
want to play. I
sisters.
think this evening time is for them to play with me. So,
Yeah.
um, so all the five, we look at customer, dealer, look at our community, look at our employees, and then look at our suppliers. Look at the entire value chain. Company business performance is one aspect of it, but unless we focus on all these five areas, the ecosystem will not be sustainable. And as always, we focus on the ecosystem, but especially in times of crisis, we have to look at it even more. So we've been in touch with, when I did a digital town hall, first time ever, I think, in my life, with all the suppliers, with all the dealers. At one point, we had like 45 countries dealers on a digital town hall, and the translators translating to completely different world.
Yeah, it's a completely different world, all right. And I think, one that we have to sort of learn to live with because a lot of this isn't going away in a hurry. Given that, I mean, the obvious questions start to become about resumption and, returning to as normal as is possible. So, first, production wise, and then, of course, what, your dealers are saying, retail wise. What's the sense that you have right now, and what's the kind of action that you're taking?
Well, even before it started, we did a few things. Gave out a whole bunch of exciting, audacious projects that people could work on. So the problem solving teamwork was still going on. And then we launched something called Red Talks. You have heard of TED Talks. So this is like Royal Enfield discussion and talks where you have a range of subjects. We had one gentleman talk about the history of Royal Enfield. Siddharth Lal talked about the brand. One guy talked about how to make an aloo paratha and all those beautiful things. So, and then as we getting into the restart, it doesn't feel like, oh my God, we all went on a holiday and came back. We have been working, we have been interacting with each other. We know what are the challenges. The first challenge, of course, is to restart in a safe way, that nobody should get infected. So all the precautions, all the safety mechanisms. Um, it is a slow start, limping back to, fortunately, with about half of our dealerships already open, um, our booking is already at about half of what it used to be. Which means that if cities are closed, my guess, Siddharth, would be that the rural element is almost at 75-80% of the past. Now, it could be because of a lot of pent up demand and all that, but it is nice to see. Our sales are predominantly city and now moving a large part to the rural areas. So, in that sense, I think I'm excited that things are coming back. The production has slowly started. People have started coming back to our factories. Um, but the supply chain has to kick in yet, slowly but surely. So I think by end of this month, when the lockdown opens up a little bit more, June should be closer to maybe at least at 50%. Maybe July onwards, it will get to higher.
What about the BS6 transition? I mean, a lot was said about how smoothly it happened for you. Where did that come from, and how well was that planning? Or looking back at it now, how well do you think you pulled it off?
I think my team pulled it off wonderfully well. We sold off all our BS4 vehicles in March, early March itself. So we were selling BS6. We started selling BS6 in Jan, and by I think mid March we were only selling BS6. So in that sense, we did a wonderful thing. And in any case, Siddharth, one of the things that we said is that why tie up a dealer's cash in inventory? So we have, and inventories are not the right thing. So the entire pipeline inventory from what we keep at the factory to what is kept at the dealer, we try to keep it as somewhere around 2 to 3 weeks. So that's how we brought it down. So we never had some big problem to deal with. In any case, we transitioned quite well. But the best part is that I'm excited about is the performance of the BS6 vehicles is turning out to be fantastic. The feedback that we're getting is very good. So I'm excited about that.
Tell us a little bit about that, because the apprehension always was going to be about along the way you sort of had to rationalize the portfolio a little bit. I mean, the 500s are gone. Given that there was a steady kind of a customer base for those products and also a lot of fans, what is that feedback that you're getting? Because obviously a lot of those people are either now going to some other products or waiting for something new from you.
Well, one of the things that we have done over the last 3-4 years is significantly accelerate our new product plan. Um, we will remain a mid-sized company. That's somewhere between 250 and 750 cc. There's lots of speculation going on. We will make smaller ones and all that. We have not looked at that. But in this range, there are 5 levels that we are looking at, Siddharth. The first is platform. So we've got a new platform coming up. With P, we had a new platform, which was the Twins. Then we have another one coming up. We would have launched it by now. We will launch it sometime as soon as the lockdown is over. So you have the platforms. On the platforms, we have models. With each model, we have variants. With each variant, we have several color trims and graphics, and then we have the limited editions. So a 5 level to a point that I'm so excited that almost every quarter for the next 3 to 4 years, every quarter we have a new model. It's not like just changing the colors or something. Almost new model or a variant coming for the next 3 to 4 years. So uh, absolutely exciting product range. So we've learned how to make many different models using the same modular infrastructure of the same engine or gearbox and the frame. So in that sense, um, what was traditionally a company that had very limited product range is now going to have significant expansion in product range.
Well, that's very heartening, and I mean, I know that a lot of the RE fans, especially, would be very, very keen to, hear more about that. Now, you mentioned that you had a new platform that was all set for debut, but for obvious reasons has been delayed because of the current crisis. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Well, it's a new 350cc, which is uh, but significantly better feeling, significantly better in terms of um, the ride. So I want to leave something for you to hope for and desire for. So hopefully by end of June we'll be ready to do that.
All right. Yeah. I mean, I was about to say that probably then, what, another month or so away, hopefully.
Yeah.
Um, we'll see. I have a lot of people saying hello to you, as I've been saying from the start. Now, a lot more people have joined in. So I must acknowledge a few. And there's one particular person, I'm guessing he knows, or is it? Yes, it's he knows that this will probably make sense to you. It says, "Hi, Vinod, it's cassette here." So,
Sorry?
cassette.
Oh, okay.
So
That's
I don't know if that's an old friend, Srinivas Rao. And then, there are lots of people who are asking how they can intern at Royal Enfield. But more significantly, I think, speaking of what you just mentioned, the 350 family to begin with has just been, I mean, even from the start, when the Classic 350 first came out, I don't think anybody anticipated, even probably, I know I've spoken with Sid about this in the past too, just the phenomenal success that you've had with that. It's almost now incumbent on you to take that 350 story forward in many ways, isn't it?
absolutely. I mean, the UCE or the combustion engine, the unit combustion engine that we had called the UCE 350, that was a transformation point for the company. Beautiful engine, beautiful performance, beautiful in terms of uh, the elegance of the design, the elegance of the sound. All of that was very good.
Yeah.
But we were also getting from customers, especially customers outside India, that can you improve the NVH even more? We like the thump, we like the beat, we like it's like music to our ears, but can you improve the NVH on it? So it's significantly better in that sense, what is coming out now.
Yeah.
But there are customers who still want the old one. They say, no, I like it's music to my ears. I like the feel. I like the punch that it gives when I'm riding it. So we actually converted the old UC to a Bs6 also, and that's also available. That's available for sale even now, even before this new one came in. So we'll have both.
Yeah, I was about to ask you that. So, it's safe to assume that both will continue
Yeah,
parallelly.
yeah, for some period of time.
Okay. And yeah, I'm guessing you'll still have a significant demand for the existing one. And now, like you said, you've invested in taking it to BS6 anyway. So, just kind
Yeah,
of makes sense.
yeah.
Now, of course, the 650 family has been all that everybody has been talking about for quite some time now. The success and the acceptance is something that's also been fairly well registered. How do you see that progressing? And how many more directions are there for that platform to take you in? I know there's lots of speculation that's already happened. I'll get to some of that speculation, but I want to first hear what you have to say.
Well, the 650 has been a superb success. The Interceptor and the Continental both have won practically every award in their category across the world. It is the first truly global product from Royal Enfield, um, launched in California. It's won awards it's been the number one selling brand in Europe in its category. In Australia, it's won awards. In Korea, it has won awards. So every place in the world. So when we say that we want to make Royal Enfield a global brand, this is what we mean. It's global in terms of excellence, global in terms of reach. We're not just in some African countries and all that or something like that. We are every part of the world where somebody wants to ride can have a Royal Enfield. And hopefully, this will also take us to the third element of global, which we say global in terms of size. So, one of the things that we need to do is to have several variants of the 650. And I'm sure our fans are very excited about uh, all the potential opportunities. So, like I said, P is a platform. There were two models, the Interceptor and the Continental. There could be several other models, and each one of those models will come with several variants and so on. So we'll build a tree on it. The feedback was absolutely superb. Um, so we are obviously working on several versions of it, and we'll come back to you soon. I can't give you the product portfolio details, but yes, we are
Unfortunately, you
working.
can't. Yes. No,
Yeah,
but
but
I'm heartened to hear you say that there are several places you can still go with that, because you're right. I think from the fans' perspective, from a lot of the buyers who are waiting and also a lot of your critics, I think, who've sort of seen that transition, where you went from being very niche and almost, not progressive or modern at one time in your history, to now suddenly becoming this very exciting space for, niche motorcycling, but at the same time taking it to a lot more people, making it more accessible. Speaking of which, I know that, you kind of hinted at the start that on the one hand, you're not looking to go mass and, sort of really broad base this. But at the same time, now between 350 and 650, obviously there's a bit of a chasm. There is a gap. Does that gap get fulfilled by what you're saying? That, like you said, it's the tree which will still have many more branches from both ends coming, 350 and 650, or will there be another platform in the middle in the future?
Let's see how I can answer it. The answer is yes.
Okay, that works for me.
So, I mean, we are focused in the mid-size.
Yeah.
Our goal is to grow the global mid-size market, and I believe that it will significantly grow as there will be more aspiration for mid-size products, as well as the very high-end motorcycles. The demand is falling, so those guys are
Yeah.
coming back. So the mid-size market is going to grow. So we can do more with our 350. We can have another in the middle. We can also reduce the 650, take it slightly higher. All these permutations and combinations are. We have an excellent product development team, both in UK as well as in India.
Yeah.
And if we focus on this and say that how can I get more from this infrastructure that we have created, both for the engine as well as for the frame. So that's what we'll be working on.
No, again, that's very heartening to hear, because whenever I hear people talking about, and especially your critics would love to, talk about how when you say that the mid-size motorcycle space is the one that's going to grow and see all the action, and then they start talking about, oh, look, there are so many more players coming to it. Existing big bike players are also now looking at this space, as being very lucrative worldwide. And to them, I always like to say that, even better, because it will expand that segment even more rapidly, which gives you a bigger pie to sort of slice out of. So not to answer that question for you, but even in the Indian context, considering that about 80-90% of your sales are in India, obviously still, would you still say that holds true?
Absolutely. I mean, the more people look at it, the more attention this space gets. And when people go and look at a competitor's bike and say, I like Royal Enfield better, so that I can go and buy a Royal Enfield. So, I mean, 250cc and above, despite all the competition, we have, I believe, 95% market share. And, we created, at one time, the market for greater than 500cc vehicles used to be very, very small. Now, after we launched the 650, it grew 4x. All was because of us. So I think at the right value proposition also, you have to make the bikes accessible. You can't just have higher CC and ungodly amount of pricing.
Yeah.
So if you create the right value proposition, I think you can pull from the top into the mid-size, and you can pull from the bottom into the mid-size also.
No, absolutely right. And I think, of late, the trends in the market have also kind of proven exactly what you're saying. So the current crisis notwithstanding, and in fact, maybe in some ways, post this crisis, as we start to come out of it, because we're still in it, this will actually maybe benefit you even more, because people are talking, of course, maybe some of this is just speculation, and, let's give it that. But people are talking about how personal mobility is definitely going to go up, as opposed to shared mobility. And then, a lot of people might want to still express that individuality, or maybe finally give in to those, the dreams or the aspirations that they always had. Do you think that it puts you in a sweet spot in many ways? Because it's not necessarily true for many other categories like the cars, or maybe even, the more utilitarian products in motorcycling. The fact that you have products that are accessible, B, placed in a position where they're obviously enticing, and then C, they're still well within reach, and they're still well within consideration sets for a lot of people.
Now, I think you brilliantly answered the question.
I have to stop doing that.
That's fantastic. I think you've read our strategy well. I mean, we want to make our bikes accessible, not just in terms of the price and the variety that we offer, but equally in terms of our presence. We doubled our network in the last 1 year. And all of this was through studio store concepts outside in the rural areas. We're going to add as many again this year. So significant presence there. But because of this crisis, few things are going to change. I think the three things will change. One, there will be significant amount of digitization in the buying process. We'll have to figure out how to involve the buyer or the customer into the buying process. A differentiated buying experience, like you rightly said, Siddharth, because of people not wanting shared rides and all of that, shared mobility and all, they will want their own bike. But when I go onto a traffic light, I want to be something different. I mean, a motorcycle is a display of a person's personality. So he has to have uniqueness and differentiation. So how do we involve them in the design of the motorcycle? How do we help them? And I then go and make for each. If Siddharth Patankar wants this kind of bike, I make it just for you. And so we have revamped our entire business process from make to stock to make to order. I think we want to move completely where 100% of the bikes we make are mass customized. So you can then choose whichever bike you want with this kind of label, with that kind of color, with this kind of accessory and that kind of apparel, all of this built into it. So that significantly changes the entire buying process. The buying experience becomes significantly different. Equally, after we do that, today I used to joke inside that so long as we sell a bike, we say hum saath hai, and after the bike is sold, we say hum aapke hain kaun. So we actually don't participate in the owning experience, but we are so good at rides. More than 1,000 rides every month. That we do. But we don't say, how else can I enhance his experience? How else can I make his bike better? Can I provide him even better service? So some of the things that will change with this post-crisis is customers will not like to come to a workshop and wait. So can I provide him service at his home? Can I do digital things to maybe provide him things that I can fix remotely? So these are things that we are working on. Whole bunch of solutions that we could generate for them and then create a new set of rides, something that we started last year, Siddharth. And I think this is, in times like this, is very, very important. All dealers organize 1 or 2 rides every month. So we asked them, how about, we are all these young men and women who feel great sense of camaraderie. Can we get them to do something right? Leave every place better. That's something we launched. And this caused a huge amount of excitement among youngsters. Now, at times like this, I think if you had let Royal Enfield customers ride their bikes, you wouldn't have a single migrant walking. They would have all picked them up and dropped them wherever. Because our customers are the gentler soul. And I think if we can leverage that with what we call as cause rides, so ride for a cause every time you go out, at times like this, that would involve the customer a whole lot more in the owning experience, would be a far better experience.
No, that's actually quite a special idea. I like that. I like the sound of it. You mentioned a whole lot of things there, which I want to, obviously pick up on, the many things that I want to talk about here. But I want to quickly pick up on what you said. That's a great idea about, saying that, look, we'll try and take even certain small repairs or service to people's doorsteps. Now, you mentioned that this is something that you're already discussing internally. How soon do you see that rolling out? Because obviously the need is like right now.
Yeah, so by the time this lockdown is over, I think we will be able to do that significantly. We have 3 or 4 different ways. We're working on saying, can I send, I expect many places that they will have maybe battery down or they need an oil change or something like that if the vehicle has been parked. We even had lots of DIY videos on what you can do to your bike while it is standing. And including a red talk on it internally. It was brilliant. But so we created a whole bunch of what we call a service on wheels, a purpose designed bike. And I think we have nearly 1,000 of these across India.
And they're everywhere. Okay.
So these are, they can actually go do an oil change. They can charge a battery and all of that. These are not just to carry a mechanic. They actually carry equipment to fix it. We have pick up and drop trucks that we have designed specifically. We have designed trucks which can go do on-site repair. We even tied up with some people where customers can be picked up from their workplace, or either we pick up the bike or we pick up the person, one of the two. Um, I don't think if I am a customer of Royal Enfield, I want Royal Enfield to pick up my bike, take it, repair it, and I want to be able to see the repair while it's happening if I wanted to. And those are all things that put ourselves in the shoe and of the customers. And if that's what we want, that's what we should offer to the customers. So this whole COVID crisis has completely changed. Um, yeah, I don't even know why we need so many service centers across the country. If nobody wants to come and I pick up everybody's bike, maybe I should have one central repair station for the whole city rather than have 20 of them in the city and tie up with real estate.
Are you hinting at a complete rehaul in that idea?
I think,
It
this
makes it more efficient too, right?
absolutely. And Siddharth, every crisis presents an opportunity.
Yeah.
It's a blessing in disguise. If we don't look at it and say, can we question the way we have done things for the last 100 years or so? you know, uh, this is we would have missed an opportunity. So just like we are saying, hey, a customer doesn't want to spend so much time at a showroom looking at all of things. Can I use mobile devices or digital devices to help him design the bike? Uh, can I provide him a contact-like experience? So imagine you sit at home and design a bike, and I make it for you in my factory 24 hours after you have designed it, and I send it to you. You can literally design and buy a bike on your mobile. I will make it for you within 24 hours with your name on it, with a photograph of you, of your bike, sent to you within 24 hours saying, I made this bike and I'm shipping it out to you. Wouldn't that be completely different? That's something that we should think about, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's what's the good things that come out of this crisis, and that's what we should look at.
How far am I from being able to do that? When are we talking? Because my head's already exploding with the ideas of, how much this can change things.
Well, not too far.
No, because, and this is not just about the competition or, taking a leadership in this space, but literally, if you think about it, this level of customization and also to be able to sort of turn it around quickly enough, even if it's not
So the
24
next
hours, even
launch
if
we'll do will probably be with something like this.
okay, so sort of baked into it. So clearly this is something you are already thinking of. This is not just coming out of the crisis.
Yeah. So it's been something we've been thinking about, and the crisis, thank goodness, has accelerated it.
Okay, no, but tell me this from a production perspective, how much pressure does that put on you? Because if each motorcycle is that heavily customized, and yet you're trying to give people 24-hour turnaround times, etc., how much of a revamp does the production end need to go through to be able to become this new animal?
Well, you invert the pyramid, right? Today, what we used to do is you keep inventory at the dealership, then keep something in the depot, and then keep something in transit, and then keep something. You invert it and say that I only need to keep very few bikes at the dealership, only for display. And now with so many new models and variants that we have, what will you display at your dealership? I mean, just on the new platform, we might have 15 models. How will I display so many? So you have to find digital ways of doing it, and you have to allow the customer to differentiate. It's the mark of Siddharth Patankar's personality on that bike. You know, uh, I would most important thing to me is my family, so I would like my family's picture on my fuel tank lacquer coated. Can you do that? Hell yeah, I can do that. And that's what Royal Enfield customers want. A personalized, it's an aspirational bike, personalized bike. So make something for me and not for anybody else. And that's what we have to rig up our entire back end to do. And I'm so proud of my team for saying, for, and it's not just I'll make one for you. 100% of our orders will be like that in future. So whatever you buy will be made only for you and never made for anybody else. So
That's incredible. No, and you're saying this will start with the very next product, but then you'll
it
extend
will
it
start
across
the
to the
next
whole.
product that will get rolled out, and sooner or soon, 100% of what we sell will be going down this path. So a complete overhaul of our how the customer's buying experience happens. Um, it will change things on our IT system. It will change things in our front end. It will change
Yeah.
things on our dealers. It will change a lot of things, and it will have huge repercussions on our backend. But I think my team, we did a trial run in January, fortunately before. I was, and it worked out very well. Uh, so within 24 to 48 hours, the bike is at the end of the chassis line. We take a photograph of it,
Wow.
send it to you saying your bike's ready with your name on it. And
That's
it's on.
incredible. No, so
So
I can't wait to see that roll out because it changes the whole paradigm. And, people who are listening and who are going to obviously then pick up on this later, they're going to love this because that level of customization hasn't been done by anybody in any category. It's not just about Royal Enfield or motorcycles.
yeah, yeah. Well, I won't let you change the engine.
No, let's leave a few
But
things to the experts, right?
yes, I will take your suggestions on which engine should go and what models we should make. But equally, we are using this opportunity to
Yeah,
change the paradigm on the owning experience side. I mean, um, average Royal Enfield customer spends a huge amount of money on the bike or in his rides
yeah.
and all that. How can I make that better? Uh, if I can completely transform the buying experience, how can I make the owning experience also significantly better? Can I offer him solutions? Can I offer him more accessories, more apparel? Um so all that is significantly exciting us.
Very exciting. No, I must tell you that, as you know, of course, when we started, also there was a little bit of a hiccup. There were audio issues, and that's why we started like a minute late. Technology will do funny things to you. Suddenly, a lot of my, I had listed down a few questions that I wanted to ask you. That whole file has gone on air as well. But what you've told me has completely thrown that file out of the window. Like, the planned structure or, the questions I wanted to ask you, it's all gone because this is really exciting stuff. It's also path breaking, right? Because it kind of ties in, to my mind, it ties in beautifully with the transformation we're seeing at the consumer end. The kind of consumer, who are the people who are going to be buying bikes going forward. I hate using the word millennial because it doesn't mean anything and it doesn't really convey what, group we're talking about. Because in your case, it's not an age thing. It's, it could be anybody, but their demands, their need to express themselves and be more individual, as we know, are going up, and this just beautifully dovetails with that. So,
So, I mean, just to give you a hint of what it could mean, um, the the new bike that we launched in its previous avatar, if it was available in 26 different permutations and combinations of colors and variants and all, the new avatar we calculated is available in 847,000
wow,
potential permutations and combinations.
wow,
And so the complete transformation of our, you can't just change one element, you have to change the whole thing to give you a holistic experience.
yeah.
And from front end all the way up to the back end. And that's truly exciting transformation. That's what we call internally as RE 2.0. So,
I was, in fact, RE 2.0, of course, I wanted to speak to you about because I know this is a strategy that's been implemented. In fact, ever since you came in, this is a new thing that's happened. But and we are sort of seeing still some of that still rolling out. But to go back to the point that you made, a lot of this customization will obviously happen digitally, like you said, on an app or online, where people can sort of configure a few things the way they like. I'm assuming some of those things will be paired a certain way, saying that, hey, if you pick this trim, then maybe this goes with it. A little bit of guiding people into understanding what
absolutely.
works. But what about people who are not digitally savvy? Will this all also be possible then at the dealer end, where
Absolutely.
they will be
Absolutely.
equipped to walk people through this?
Yeah, yeah. You could do it on your mobile, you could do it on at the dealership, or you could do it on our website. And it
Okay.
will say that if you choose one engine guard and something else is
Yeah.
blocking it, it'll say, well,
Yeah.
if you want to change this, you need to change this. And and you will be able to visualize it on your screen. You can rotate it, do whatever, and play with it. It's truly world class.
Exciting stuff, guys. You heard it here first. I mean, I'm already bursting out of my seat here, trying to see, and my mind's already gone to configuring, by the way. Can I just tell you that's what my distraction is right now?
I will
But
see if my guys can get you a beta version to give you a test
I'll be very happy
to see
to
whether
poke
you like
around
it.
in that. Yes, thank you. No, it's I think it's great, and honestly, congrats to you and the team because I also know what kind of crazy back end goes into this from an IT perspective, from a logistics perspective, even dealer training. There are so many layers to this. The fact that you figured this out and are ready to deploy next month, like you said, it's incredible. So really, congrats to you and the team.
Yeah, I sure hope the lockdown and all that portion is over and I can launch it because we are ready with it
Sure,
pretty much.
sure.
And I must congratulate the entire range of team from industrial design guys who are coming up with variety of options to IT people to the front end teams, the dealer teams, the entire back end guys. So uh, the challenge that we had was if Siddharth orders something, designs something, and says place order and pays the money, you can pay it with your credit card.
Hmm.
Within 24 hours, I should be able to send him maybe 48 max, but at least 24 hours, I should send him a picture saying, here's your bike. It's now going to be shipped. So whatever time it takes to
Then it's
ship,
just about the shipping, yeah.
yeah,
And potentially this could be delivered to the person's doorstep. You don't have to go to the dealership anymore either.
absolutely, absolutely, and that's
Yeah.
the new thing. And then whenever you need service, I know where you are. So I could, but we are thinking along these lines. So that I could connect your bike with. We've done enough testing that I could connect your bike and say, I'll give you an app or to your wife to know where Siddharth is. I don't know if you'd like that or not, but I could make an app to say, hey, where am I? It would help you travel wherever you want to go. You could choose different ride routes. You could have preferences to say, hey, previous people who have gone like this have done like this. And I could tie up with people there to help you have a better experience on your rides. Um,
So you're
not
saying GPS
not
enabled though,
only
that
that
means.
one of my riders should have an accident.
Yeah.
I, the minute he has an accident, I know where he is. I know that the rollover switch has told me that the bike is down. I should be able to send him an ambulance or something, even if he cannot pick up the phone and call. So, an umbrella cover from Royal Enfield to make sure that the Royal customers never have to be feeling let down.
But this
That's our
will
goal. That's what's our goal.
this will work through GPS. I mean, what's the embedded SIM? What's the plan?
We'll let you know on that later. It's
But
a
that is
whole,
coming then. It's a whole suite
whole,
of
a
products.
whole yeah, that's a whole strategy that we are working on completely connected
Connected
motorcycles.
bikes. Yeah, I was going to say this is another new catchphrase. So, uh, you know, the other thing I do is I play out a lot of videos based on what we're talking about. I have nothing to play out because this is all new, and you're totally blowing me away, but
Uh,
I'm not complaining. I mean, this is exciting stuff, and in many ways, dare I say, who else if not Royal Enfield? In many ways, it is the brand you would expect to sort of turn things on its head, excite us with something new. Connected bikes coming from Royal Enfield, though, I think a lot of people may not have guessed. So that is exciting, doubly so.
well, Siddharth, what drives us is that this is our brand.
Hmm.
Ultimately, you do this because you want, brand is provide the customer a very exciting buying experience, which is very authentic and very personalized to you, and then a very exciting ownership experience. Now, if I can do both of these in this day and age by leveraging digital, brilliant. You know, um, imagine a day where you are traveling somewhere and I can predict a failure on your bike and I prevent it by calling you and saying that something's not right if you allow me to read your data.
Yeah,
So
diagnostics.
yeah, remote diagnostics, remote prognostics.
Hmm.
These are all the future. I'm not saying we are ready with it yet, but I think we are
That's where it's
thinking
going.
along those
Yeah,
lines because of one reason. The riding experience of Siddharth should not be damaged by anything related to the bike.
hmm.
And if I can do it even better, that you go to this particular restaurant I should provide you routes to travel on, and on those routes I should negotiate better rates for you to stay and to eat and whatever. We are not
It's endless.
participating in that part of your uh, ownership
Yeah.
experience, which we will significantly do. So we have a whole new team only looking at solutions that I should be able to provide you to make your ownership experience also much better. And this is what our brand is. This is not some unique technology that we invented. It is driven by what we feel about our brand.
I must tell you that there's lots of comments that have started to come in and some questions, but mostly comments, and so you'll be heartened to know. In fact, I missed one which I want to go back up to, which was nice to see. Yeah, I can't find it now. It was, I think, your dealer from Guwahati who had also logged in and wanted to just say hello to you and acknowledge that he's here. Then, of course, a lot of people who are complimenting you on this level of digitization that's coming. There's lots of people who are, of course, very surprised and blown away by it, like I am. And then, people who are also saying that this is, going to change the game, and how different everything is going to be. Um, Piyush says he's trying to completely revamp the buying process. Excellent. And Harsh says, and this is Harshman Rai, by the way, so who I'm sure you know, will all this delightful customer experience and customer configurator make Royal Enfield more expensive? So, how
No,
do you react to that?
not at all. It will make it better for you. Imagine a situation that I offer a bike with spoked wheels
Hmm.
and you want cast wheels. Today, what happens is you take those
Yeah,
spoked wheels out, throw it away, and you put cast wheels. Tomorrow, if you have a configurator which you can configure and say, I wanted cast wheels, if the configurator allows you to put that, and you can't change everything, we have certain limitations on
sure.
what you can do. Uh, I can make it in the factory and you don't have to throw away the spoked wheels. So there is no cost increase because of that. The only cost increase is because I hope that you will buy a lot more accessories from Royal Enfield now that I offer them. A whole range of them. I mean, 3 different fly screens, 4 different engine guards, so many different types of seats and tires and wheel rims and all of that. So
And that'll keep growing. I mean, that accessory
that's
portfolio will keep growing, I'm guessing.
and we are and more customers can offer suggestions that I want this. I mean, some customers want panniers, some customers want top boxes. More that they want, I will say, okay, we'll design them in. But whatever we do as accessories, we always make sure that they are homologated, and we are not going to make something that will not meet
Yeah.
homologation.
Yeah.
So
No, no, and
that
all
goes.
regulations have to be met. I mean, safety
Yeah,
regulations, and
absolutely,
um,
absolutely.
we should do this though. I mean, we should at least here on Car and Bike. I'm very happy to do this, where we can literally ask people. There's already so much on offer, but you still see the room for something else. If you do, please tell us what it is,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I like that idea. Literally so crowdsourcing these ideas too, because eventually it's those people who want to use it, and they are the ones who credibly want to then show it off. So why not? So yeah, guys, let's
Well,
do that.
the next bike we launch, we will show you a million options that you can choose from on permutation and combinations.
I mean, you've
And
already said even just the bike itself can have 847,000, I think you said, different, avatars. So add the accessories in and it becomes even crazier, I'm sure.
yeah,
Um,
including the accessories, some permutations, combinations of
but that's
color,
close to a
trims,
million as it
graphics,
is.
accessories, all that stuff. So, and you can choose one which is unique to you, and I can put your name on it.
Yeah, that nobody else does. And clearly nobody else will be able to. I don't
So,
think people can
so
react to
that's
this.
the proof of the pudding, right? If I'm
Yeah,
actually making it for you, or am I keeping a whole inventory hidden somewhere and then just picking one and
just
giving
picking
it?
it up.
We
Yeah.
are actually making one for you because I'll put your name on it. One in customer actually said, I love my daughter. Can you put her picture on my fuel tank and lacquer coat it? It never goes away. I said, yeah, send it to us digitally and we'll put it. And that bike to him is part of his life.
Oh, yeah. Very
His life
special.
is his daughter. So he wants to make sure that he can see her wherever he is.
No, it's incredible, and of course, a lot of people have asked these questions about what about the electric future, because obviously that's something that's inevitably coming. I will get to that, and so I promise, guys, that I will talk about that. But I think my own team will probably disown me if I don't go back to talking about the products as they are in the market. We have, like I said, completely digressed from the original path that I was on. Uh, when it comes to now, I said there's lots of speculation about what you might do. There's talk about a more powerful Himalayan. There's talk about a scrambler, 650. Some of it has been done by, officially as well. I know that some of it you have sanctioned with some of the custom houses overseas. What has your experience been with those limited editions, and what part of that do you think your portfolio does need?
I think our custom build and our limited editions, we learn an incredible amount because it's not just about, first of all, our bikes are designed in a manner that they are customizable. So our custom houses love it. Adrian Sellers, who's one of the guy who heads this for us, every week or so they have this Royal Enfield custom live show where I think it's on YouTube, where they actually do build a whole bike and show how it is done. That teaches us what all do we need to do to make sure that the bike is modifiable, what all are the preferences of the customers, and gives us ideas into future kind of things. So between 350 and 650 or 750 or there are somebody said roadster, somebody said scrambler, somebody said bobbers. uh, how can we make so many different varieties and permutations and combinations? That's what this platform approach is all about. So you Otherwise, you just make one bike and then it's stuck, and all you can do then is to change the colors or make it into limited editions. If you design a bike with a platform in mind, that you could take the same engine, apply it to a scrambler as well as to a roadster as well as to a bobber or whatever, just change the frame. Uh, that's what we have been working on for the last 3-4 years, and the output of which you will see for the next 3-4 years at least. Um, like I was saying, every quarter something new. Um, so any combination that you might have mentioned, I don't remember what all you said, but you probably have it in our portfolio.
650 Scrambler. That's a very direct question. Coming, not coming.
Sometime in future, I'm sure if there's enough
It just
demand,
makes sense, to all of us. And I think when I say all of us, I'm including your larger fan base and community as well. We hear so much clamor for that. And of course, that, custom build that was done, I think got a lot of love too. So
yeah,
it just becomes like the no-brainer the way we see it, which is why I
yeah,
said,
there is lots of people who say, why can't you make more types of P? Uh, so yeah, we are looking at it. I mean, it would make sense, no? So that, I
yeah.
mean, it's not rocket science. The twin engine has been such a superb engine, uh, and it's doing so well. Why can't we apply it to so many different things? So obviously, we are looking, not we will be, we are looking at several, and you will see several options of twins coming out in variety of different ways.
Okay, so I've been nicely prompted because this was another question that keeps coming up in the Royal Enfield context. We get a lot of people asking us this, and right now Sanjeev has also asked the same question. 650 Himalayan. I have a take on that, and I won't tell you what that is, but first I just want you to react.
I can't say yes or no. It'd be like, I mean, this way you will, by method of elimination, you guys will know my entire product plan. I was told by my product strategy team that we have to maintain some semblance of secrecy. Actually, sometimes I find out from media what is our product plan more than from my own team,
Yeah,
including the codes we use. We were so James Bondish, like we would say, we will have this kind of code. I read it in a newspaper. So. Um, I would say that we are looking at many options on the P platform. There's a whole range of options that are possible, and we are working on several of them. I don't want to say which one. That would be like letting the cat out of the bag.
that's fair. No, no, I won't push you on that. I'll tell you I'll tell you my take, as it were. The thing is that if you look at this category, call it adventure, call it whatever you want to call it, because I know different people like to define it differently, and that's the whole point, that you have so many different kind of consumers. There is, I would say, there are a fair number of products that sit above the 10 lakh rupee category. To my mind, that's not necessarily where Royal Enfield wants to go anyway. I mean, you yourself said that you're not that kind of player. You want to operate in the mid-sized part of the market, and so given that, instead of going higher and building a more powerful or a bigger Himalayan, why not build a smaller Himalayan? In the sense, not smaller is the wrong word, but more accessible, maybe smaller displacement, because that's where maybe there's a whole lot of people who would love a product like that but have nothing, or maybe just have one odd product right now in the market that by default does well.
Hmm. Yeah, so we're not looking at a smaller Himalayan as of now. That's something that I can tell you, because the Himalayan itself, for
Yeah,
I think you need something higher if you wanted to go
more rugged.
more rugged or something like that. We're not looking at that motocross kind of
Okay.
bike. Uh, that would be very low
Yeah.
CC and very high torque kind of levels. But um, Himalayan has done incredibly well for us. It's a complete, compared to the normal cruisers and roadsters that we have. It's completely different adventure, and that has taught us a lot of things on what to do and how to do things. So, shall we consider? I think Himalayan is small enough for the kind of work that they do. I don't know if there is something smaller than that, because if you do, then it'll become too purposeful. You can only ride it uh, on a motocross circuit or something like that. Whereas Himalayan's tagline, and Adarsh is our brand manager for that, and he would say it's all roads or no roads. It should work both ways. So if I want to commute on it, I should be able to do it. Whereas if I should take it off-road, I should be able to do it. And that's the beauty of the Himalayan. And anything lighter or smaller would probably not be so comfortable with that. That's my view.
But bigger, you're saying there is potential.
Bigger there is, I mean, in different parts of the world, especially.
Yeah. I was going to say maybe in other markets more so.
Yeah. I mean, Himalayan, I think, is about 24 horsepower, but
Yeah.
you could do much more. Even without changing the CC, you could do more on the torque and all of that.
I was about to say that you can take more out of the current one too, I'm sure. And so, no, that's interesting because
hinting too many things, Siddharth, you're forcing me to back off of
I'll back off.
our product.
No, but it's exciting stuff because, that segment in particular, I think in the Indian context, we've just barely scratched the surface, right? Because in many ways, it's a new segment to India. I think people have just been, they've just tasted blood now. And globally, of course, the potential for it has always been there. And I'm sure that that's something you've already seen with the current Himalayan too.
And our youngish demography with more wealth, more aspiration coming, these are the kind of things that people want. So you can't give them a bike, though. I don't think in India we have reached a level where people will buy a bike only for a Sunday. They want to have dual use of it. So that's why you have to make a bike which is both. It's the Royal Enfield, but it also allows you to do this. It also allows you to do that. So that's what we are aiming for.
Can't be too niche. I remember last year when I was in Seoul, I happened to be there the day your new store, flagship store, was opening there, and it was a sort of almost a relaunch of the business in many ways in South Korea. And I went there, I was very excited. With my phone, I filmed everything, took lots of pictures, and we put up a couple of stories. And the thing that the dealer principal told me, which completely blew my mind, was that he said we've got a lot of bookings already even before we opened, and all of that. And he said, do you want to guess which product dominates the bookings? And I was like, it's got to be one of the classics, right? And he's like, no, it's the Himalayan.
Yeah.
And so I didn't see that coming. And I now hear that refrain from many other markets as well. I think such a product just didn't exist. Yeah.
So
no, and the other thing we just recently seen, I think it was earlier this week or late last week, where we saw, I think it was in Thailand, where you had a dealership that was, almost like a movable dealership that's now possible. And you were just talking about at the start, how rural sales become even more important. Maybe not, you don't necessarily need to have a full-fledged dealership anymore, considering a lot of it is going digital, but you still want to reach all these new customers. Do you think a model like that, could work in India too?
Yeah, so we tried with the studio store concept, Siddharth. So a studio store in capital expenditure is about 1/10 the cost of a big store in a big city. So, I mean, a studio store breaks even at selling about 6 to 7 bikes per month. So that's pretty easy. I remember visiting one studio store in rural UP, and one customer was dragging his bike onto towards the store with rope, literally. So I asked him, I felt terrible, and I said, what happened? He says, nothing happened. मैं चलाता नहीं था for months because कहीं Royal Enfield नहीं था. अब आपने store लगाया, now I'll do it. So जो दिखती है वो बिकती है. I want to give the confidence to my customers that I am around everywhere. Now, if I can significantly multiply that digitally, that's even better. But my rural customers, I should be able to be there. So we had a plan to launch some 200 odd or 300 last year. And I think by the end of the year, we did some 650 or 700. And we'll do that much again this year. That gets that more than accessibility, it gives the peace of mind and confidence to my customers, saying that, hey, we are around. It can do service as well as sales. So we also designed one which is completely mobile. So it just literally go there, showcase a dealership and go away. Little impact on that, but bigger is when you are actually physically present. That it's not just I'm here to sell a bike, but I'm here to be with you on your journey. So I should not say हम आपके हैं कौन. I should say हम साथ साथ हैं.
Yeah, I'm going to use that, by the way, at some point somewhere. So a lot of people are still reacting to, I think, the Himalayan conversation. I see a lot of related comments and questions as well. People asking about whether there'll be a bobber as well coming. But on the Himalayan, like I said, people still asking about the 650. There are people who are saying the same thing. Will there be a smaller or a lighter weight Himalayan? And then, of course, Harsh is again back saying that there are reports of a 450cc Himalayan. So I think, we've spent time on that now enough. But it just goes to show how much expectation I think there is from everything that you would be offering. Whether it is the Himalayan or whether it's the other products too, and including the new one that, like you said, is just around the corner, which I'm going to refrain from sort of speculating on too much because I think it's kind of fairly well known what you're talking about. But having said that, now when you look at this renewed focus to access very different kinds of people as well, and not just your usual tried and tested Royal Enfield buyer. I mean, I think the last few years have shown us that. I mean, I remember when I first started tracking as a financial journalist, even when I years ago started tracking the auto sector, where Royal Enfield was then, and it's unimaginable how many bikes you sell now. What you sold in a year, you're probably now selling in a month or more, actually. So,
In
given
April, May, but
well, we'll not talk about the current 2 months, but no, but the larger point being that you obviously have gone to new customers anyway. The
yeah.
learning curve that comes through that, does it set you up now to, go more aggressively after even newer, more different customers?
Absolutely. I think the confidence that had come, Royal Enfield, if you look at the history last 10 years, Royal Enfield 1.0, if I say,
Hmm.
had such a tremendous growth. It was the stuff of storybooks, the fastest growing automobile company, CAGR of 25%, the most profitable motorcycle company. Brilliant story, right? So, but like you rightly said right at the beginning, 95% of our sales were coming from India. They were coming from one platform. They were coming from one model. So we had, and our customer base wanted more. And you can see that from the reaction that you have. So we said, it's not just about providing more. So the what portion, what will we offer? Substantially more availability. It's how we offer,
Hmm.
how we engage the customer in the designing process, and how do we stay connected with him after the purchase process. That is the beauty of it. So we're not just saying I can make new models, I can make new models, but the whole process of engaging the customer in the buying process and engaging with the customer, that's engaging with the customer after I sold the bike. That's our brand. So we said it's not just about the motorcycle alone, but the motorcycle rider. And internally we keep saying it's not just the bike, it's also the biker.
Hmm.
So let's make sure the biker is involved in designing the bike, manufacturing the bike, owning the bike, and riding the bike. So that's what we're looking at.
No, it's a big change then, and in terms of how people see it. Not, I think as a company, you always kind of did that in at least some parts. But yeah, I think as the customer goes,
I
there,
think Joe wants me to go for a walk now.
it's like, can you stop talking now? Yeah. Very patient, though, I have to say. I mean, you
Yeah,
mentioned they're pups, and so given that, I think that's quite patient. Nice. But no, so the other point, of course, is that people who can't necessarily buy the bikes right away, or want to wait or don't have the financial means, you're still exciting a lot of those people now with a lot of what's happening on your apparel brands. We've seen firstly that the range has expanded many times over in the last few months, and we see that in all your flagship stores. There's a lot of offtake for this. There was always an aura of cool around Royal Enfield, but now more so because of this, you think, or even more so because of this?
I think our apparel team has done a fabulous job. It is uh, very high quality apparel for those people who are Royal Enfield customers and beyond. I mean, I always wear that. I love it, not because it's the brand. Even if this logo was not there, I find this to be a very comfortable polo. And that's why I have so many Royal Enfield apparel, t shirts, whatever. Um, I don't ride as much as I would love to, so I don't have as many riding pants. But I think our apparel team has done wonderfully well. I think they grew like 60, 70% even last year. Uh, Now they're expanding their distribution. Previously, it was only available in our stores. Now
Yeah.
it's available more. I think they are working on having their own e-commerce line, their own shop-in-shops, and so on. Now that we have a significantly larger range, we should be able to grow that much more. I think if we can make such world-class quality bikes, we should be offering world-class quality accessories as well as world-class quality apparel. So um, I, you will see a much better range already. I think we've launched a summer range just now, and if you have more suggestions on that, more types, I think Puneet Sood and his team have done wonderful to keep in touch with customers for that.
Actually, I must tell you that while we are speaking, I'm on your website and actually browsing through that page, and people are seeing that as well. And you can see the make your own helmet, and there are lots of categories, obviously. And you're right. I think just a few years ago there wasn't such a huge variety, or you had maybe one or two of each kind of thing. Now, what's also great is that it's all sort of purpose built, right? I mean, this a lot of it is functional. A lot of it is, keeping in mind the safety and riding requirements that people have, which is what makes it even more interesting and cool.
And these guys launched something interesting. They launched the Pinstripe Helmet,
Mm-hmm.
300 or so. They were sold in 2.5 minutes. It was gone like that.
I
I
actually
could,
remember that. Yeah.
yeah, I couldn't get one. So I'm actually now requesting the plant, yeah, abhi kaam bhi kam hai. Can you paint one for me? So make one just for me.
Yeah, well, they can put your name on it. Now that you've told me that's where my mind is immediately gone now. You can not only have it pinstripe, but you can maybe get them to put your name on it.
So that's a good idea. We didn't think of customized apparel. We can make that also as part of it. So if Puneet Sood is listening to this, maybe we'll give him a new task.
Yeah, I can be the first one. I think I already do have an RE helmet, but I wouldn't mind one with maybe my name on it. No, and I think the sky is the limit, and I think that's the other good thing, that people are starting to recognize that, and they're also seeing that, unlike the past, maybe where people always thought of maybe Royal Enfield as, yes, cool but kind of antiquated. Today, the products, even including all the apparel, like you said, there's an aura of quality around it, and I think that's also a big change.
Right, right. And like, I mean, you met Siddharth Lal also here some time ago, and he said we don't make one quality product for India and one quality product for somewhere else. It's the same thing that we make. Everything is made in India. Everything for India as well as anywhere in the world is of the same quality. In fact, our boys put up something at the airport as people come to Chennai. They realize, I mean, people think of Chennai as a hub of automotive. They see Hyundai, Korean cars come to India, and Korean cars
Right.
are made in India. But we are the ones who are exporting from Chennai to Korea. so,
Yeah, and that's
so
usually
we put
very,
the Korean at the airport and with a background of a passport saying that made in Chennai, available worldwide.
for a change, right? I mean, it's nice to see that
Yeah,
actually.
yeah. And
Um,
that's building of a global Indian consumer brand. That's our dream.
yeah. No, and I think that makes a lot of people proud. The fact that, and again, just like I said, just a few years ago, none of us could have imagined where it's gone already. So, you know, the number of questions, of course, that I've ignored are getting staggering. So I don't want to upset too many people. Let me quickly ask you some of these questions before the whole thing goes out of the usual format. So Samir says, unlike the Classic and the 650 twins, the 410cc motor on the Himalayan hasn't seen an application on any other model. Any plans with that engine family?
See, again, this is by process of deduction or elimination. You guys will send me my product portfolio pretty soon.
No, I promise
uh,
not to put. Promise not to put the codes next to anything. That's not us. We don't do
uh,
that.
so we are looking at various options of that also,
Mhm.
uh, permutations and combinations. And if you have an engine that does so well, how can we apply it to different parts? Yes, we are looking at it.
Okay, this is a nice question as well. Royal Enfield, Vincent, BSA, now Norton. Your views on India becoming almost like the last bastion of such storied British motorcycling brands?
I think they are old British motorcycling brands, and now Royal Enfield is considered an Indian
For several
motorcycling brand.
years. Yeah, for several years
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And when it comes to the 650 family, I think at the
Indian
time,
motorcycle, British roots maybe, but it's an Indian motorcycle.
Royal Enfield, yeah, I'm with you on that. I think it's long been Indian for all
Yeah.
practical purposes. On 650, you mentioned obviously there's lots that's possible. Talk us through a little bit of the the development process, because at the time when it was happening, I think a lot of people didn't understand necessarily where it was going. It was more seen as, oh look, we've got to update things because of norms, or we've got to maybe look at revamping or reintroducing certain product lines. Now we are getting a much better understanding on what these, what the engine platform is also capable of doing, and how many more areas, like you said, it can go to. So, the development itself, was it a tough decision to take, or it was always the inevitable decision to take at RE? I know this is before you came in, but still.
No, it was well before I came in, and the team did a fantastic job. It was designed again, partly in UK, partly in India. We UK Technical Center, which has fabulous expertise, and very fast coming up in India Technical Center. Now, it was designed with the world in mind. I think when you met with Siddharth Lal at EICMA when it was launched, he talked about this, that we designed that the, whatever we produce should not be something as if I'm just simply upgrading my India Classic customer to the 650.
Yeah.
We are making a world product. It will also be in India. It will also be a very nice upgrade for the 350 and the 500 to the 650. So that was the intent, and that has given us enough learning. It took us longer. I think it took us much longer than we initially anticipated. But when you're making a truly global product for the first time, it does take you that much learning, and yet keep our heritage roots. The bike that looks so retro, but it's got the most contemporary engine, most contemporary technology. So that combination was very difficult to create, and that learning is now being able to apply. I think we have learned the design process, the new product development process. Now it's hardwired into the system.
And that really
sometimes it's hardwired that I say that we need to make it faster. They say no, it's hardwired. You can't change it.
Well, it still stands you in good stead, right? Going forward, you are at least now confident that, firstly, everybody is drinking the same Kool-Aid, and that that they are as much invested, perhaps, in that future direction that the company needs to head into.
Absolutely, I think if you ask anybody in Royal Enfield to say that we want to be a global motorcycling brand, that's our vision. Everybody is excited by that. Everybody is aligned to that. And you don't have to tell them that, look, you have to make this engine or this vehicle, which will be, I can sell it in France as well as I sell it in Chennai. So it's automatic. People don't think of just saying, I'll design something that I could sell it somewhere in a third world country and not sell it somewhere else. That process, that alignment is already there. It was there well before my time, and we just have to build on it. I said, now you have such fantastic products. How can we modularly expand this significantly? Build a tree diagram so that I can have platforms, models, variants, and so on. So every permutation combination that you and the other viewers are coming up with, we have many of them.
You are all set.
I mean, you sit with our product strategy and industrial design guys. They are like kids in a candy store, guys. And ultimately, I say, it's brilliant. They say, look, this looks so sexy. It's so brilliant. Yeah, will it sell? How many will you sell? Oh, we'll sell. But more than 40. Can you tell me how many more will buy?
Yeah.
So I think you have to bring that business element also into play. We can make anything, but there's enough interest, we will certainly look at it.
So Rahul has asked a question again about 650 twins, the same engine going into other bikes. I think we've talked about that, Rahul. So I'll urge you to go back and watch this video from the start, because it will still be right here on our YouTube channel. There's a lot of people, and I've been distracted. We've talked about so many things, but I keep picking up a lot of people asking about tubeless tires for some reason, and a significant number of people have been going on asking about tubeless tires. So I have to now ask you that.
I think we already started offering that, especially on the cast wheels, but I'm not an expert yet on motorcycle and the products that we offer. if somebody actually has that question, if they can just write us an email at support@royalenfield.com, we could probably answer that question.
Okay, so there you go, guys. Support at royalenfield.com. That's easy and simple enough to remember. And speaking of which, Vinod, I have to ask you now. I know we've gone way over time here from what I had committed to you, but quick few questions before I let you go. What did make you make that huge jump? When you switched from Ashok Leyland to Royal Enfield last year. I know your home base didn't change, but what was the big motivation behind that change for you?
Well, like I said earlier, Siddharth, I think the big motivation was the opportunity to create a global consumer brand from India. I love automobile. My entire career has been somewhere in engineering sector or manufacturing sector. Um, but anywhere you go in the world, there is no Indian consumer brand that you can easily associate with. And global, by the way, is not just that I sell everywhere. It is global in terms of presence, but it's also global in terms of size. But most importantly, it's global in terms of excellence in everything we do, whether it's the customization that I offer, whether it is the service opportunities, the remote diagnostics that I offer. Everything has to be truly globally excellent. And the opportunity to create that is what excited me the most about Royal Enfield.
And
Ashok Leyland has a great team. They've got a new seasoned leader, so wish them well. But I
no, of
wanted to
course.
do this.
I mean, and you did spend a lot of time there, of course, as I know truly and well. But now, 1 year in, do you remain as excited, and are you thanking yourself for taking this decision? Cliched
I,
question, and I know
I
what you're going
couldn't
to say,
be
but
more excited. There were a few things that I was a little concerned about, which we turned it into opportunities. For example, when a company is so hugely successful, sometimes you build fat around yourself or get complacent, um, or some of our front end was not as customer friendly as it needs to be. Uh, when people always line up at your doorstep to buy a bike, you forget selling a little bit. You forget customer empathy, and it almost leads to customer apathy. And um, I think this downturn has been a blessing for us to step back and say, let's correct a few things. So now both the guys are here and they are desperate to take me for a walk. They're protesting in my room
I
saying,
I won't deny them more than just another maybe 5 minutes at best. One quick question about how it has been for you to work from home. I know it's not always easy connecting with people remotely like this, with your teams, and also still being able to take all the strategic decisions because a lot of time gets spent in, can you hear me, can you not? But I'm guessing having Sid based out of the UK, some of this probably always was happening anyway, right?
yeah, I mean, Sid and I have a wonderful relationship. He lets me run the company, but I rely greatly on his expertise on product. I don't know motorcycles. He forgotten probably more about motorcycles than I know. I mean, I will ever learn, or about the Royal Enfield brand.
Yeah.
So those are things that I didn't deal with all my life. I was in business, B2B. First time I'm working in B2C. So we have great interaction and all that. But you're right, when work from home beyond a point gets old, you miss meeting your people, you miss the high fives when you had a success. I mean, you can't do a high five on virtually, right?
Yeah.
You miss all of that. But I think there are positives to this also, that um, I think my schedule has been far busier now than before. People say, hey, let me do a video call, let me do a video call. So uh, you get involved a lot more meetings and a lot more busier schedule than before. I think we take it upon ourselves to call more people when you're stuck at home. We don't lose time, unproductive time in travel.
Yeah.
That's my biggest thing. I mean, compared to my previous job, where it was a 5 minute commute to now it was a 1 hour commute, I'm loving it. My commute is from my bedroom to my to
Home
my
office.
office.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I
So,
think
by the
things
way,
will change.
speaking of your home office, a quick word on all the things that are up on that wall behind you. It seems like a nice sort of a memory bank back there.
The only one that I keep there, actually, two. That one is with Mr. Jaitley, God bless his soul. That was just over a year ago in March 2019. Uh, that one is with Mr. Modi. when I was part of a G2B, government to business interaction, where they called all of us and asked our opinion. And um, quite coincidentally, I was on the same team as Rajiv Bajaj, and now we compete a bit. Well, we're good friends.
You'll
So
compete a little bit more once his joint venture starts, I think.
yeah, happy to.
There's a lot of speculation, obviously, about that, but no, I won't go there. But no, it's nice to see some of those pictures up there, and Mr. Jaitley is presenting you something in that picture, or you're presenting him. No, he's presenting
No,
you.
no, no. It's a bit embarrassing, but it was the CEO of the Year award, Business Standard CEO of the Year award that year. So
Ah, okay.
that was on the last working day of my career at Ashok Leyland, and it was for the work there. It was like almost
Obviously,
okay.
for
You're
that
done
work.
here. Here's your award. Now go.
In a way, it's a good send off, right? It's a very
Yeah,
apt
it
way
was
to sort of
fabulous.
end that innings on a high. But speaking of being on a high, I mean, that's one thing we always expect, I think, from the Royal Enfield brand. Certainly something that you will enjoy now in the days to come. Lots that we spoke about, and I know I can carry on speaking even longer, but we can't deny your twins now. I think they are they are waiting, so we
Right.
got to
Well put.
let them out. But no, it's been a pleasure. Thank you. I think it was wonderful speaking with you. You're clearly going to keep us very engaged in the coming few days and weeks and months, which we can't wait for. I think there's a lot of anticipation. And yes, the 350 as soon as I can. I mean, I know we are physically very apart now. You're down south and I'm in Delhi, but I can't wait to ride the new bike.
Very nice talking to you, Siddharth. It's always a pleasure. Too bad that we haven't been in touch, but I'm glad you left me alone till I figured out what is a motorcycle versus a truck. It has a lot less tires, I promise you that.
A lot less. I mean, I think you tried very
And
hard
at
to
this,
explain to me what a truck was, by the way, over the
and by the
years.
way, I enjoyed this conversation because I know you had a script and my guys had given me a script and we didn't follow that. So it
Not
was
at all.
good to chat like this.
Yeah, no, it's always fun, and I think I appreciate your having sort of kept.
Truly freewheeling as your title of your
That's
thing
the
was.
idea. See now, there I get my little I got my little promo plug there, so thank you for that. No, but really, I enjoyed this, and like I said, keep us busy. This is exciting stuff, and I can't wait to see a lot of it unfold. I'd love to also come and maybe get to see more of it upfront as and when travel is back and
Absolutely.
everything opens up.
Absolutely.
But all the best to you and the team for all of this that's
Thank you
coming.
very much. Thank you very much for doing this.
Thank you, and
Bye.
please stay safe. Take care of yourself and the family.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Same to you, Siddharth.
Thanks
Bye.
so much. Bye bye. Royal Enfield's new CEO, well, I can't perhaps say new anymore because it's been just a little over a year, 13 months into the job almost for Vinod Dasari. And what you heard right now, over the last 1 hour and a little more, has been tremendous because we have gone over so many different things that, like I was saying at one point, I felt like my head was going to explode because look at the potential possibilities. I mean, not only did we talk about the upcoming product, which, by the way, I just realized we did have a little bit of video that I wanted to play out, and we got so carried away in the conversation that it never happened. So I'll play that now anyway. The Meteor is a name that we are expecting. There are other names like Hunter as well that have been registered. We are told the Flying Flea name has been registered by Royal Enfield. But the reason I didn't push Vinod on any of that is because he was pretty forthcoming on what we can expect from Royal Enfield. There's going to be a whole lot of different bikes because what he said was, and I want to quickly recap this because it's so significant. Over the next 3 or so years, every quarter you will have some form of a new product or variant from Royal Enfield to get you excited, and that is significant. Which means that there could be variants, there could be different kind of limited editions, there could be even different body styles coming off of existing platforms. Lots to keep you busy. The other big headline for us is, of course, the fact that there will be a new platform that will sit between the current 350 and the 650. What and when, of course, we'll have to wait and be a little bit patient. But that becomes interesting because it really goes to the heart of that mid-size motorcycle space, which Royal Enfield currently commands a huge share of. It kind of controls it. And then there's a whole lot of competition coming, right? I mean, there are all these other brands which are being revived, the British brands. You've got, Norton that will come back probably. There's Java who's already back. BSA who might also come along with Java soon from the same manufacturer, the Mahindra-backed company. And then, don't forget Bajaj Triumph. There's that whole big joint venture that I alluded to earlier. So the space becomes really hot and exciting. And that is why I have such a long monologue happening right now, because it's what is getting me really worked up in a good way. The potential to be able to do your own customized bike, right, with your name on it, and for it to be turned around in about 24 hours in a manufacturing sense, that is huge. It's mind boggling because these orders could come in from all parts of the country, which means that a lot of it will be digitally driven, both at the dealer end, on the app, and then on the desktop Royal Enfield website too. Think about that. Think about the scale of that operation. It's going to be absolutely massive. And so, yes, I think we went through a fair amount. Thank you for that, Sanjeev. I appreciate it. Please react to everything that's just been said here, not just by me, but by, more importantly, by Vinod, because I think it's the whole aspect of what all potentially could happen now from Royal Enfield, which makes me really sort of salivate. And, the biggest hint, of course, was that this bike is probably going to be a reality. Okay, so you know what? What I'm going to do is we're going to probably get onto our Instagram live right now and just kind of continue this discussion, because my appetite has been absolutely whetted by what's been spoken. And maybe we also get Preetham to join in, and we have a little bit of a conversation on this. So head across to my Instagram right now and get some of your views on this. The interesting thing is that our very next episode will also be featuring a storied motorcycling brand. It's none other than Triumph, and we'll have that for you on Thursday this week. So 4:30 p.m. on Thursday is when we will have Triumph's Shoaib, who will be joining us. And so I look forward to that interaction. Please do join me for that. And until then, please keep freewheeling. Wear your seatbelts and your helmets if you're stepping out. And do remember, of course, that when it comes to stepping out, please be judicious. Only do what you need to do. If you are back at work, well, that's the only time to really, essentially step out if you have to. But the larger point being that this is not about the lockdown. This is just about your own, specific way of looking at it. I think the more you can avoid, the more you should, in terms of really interacting with people or getting out, because right now things are still up in the air. And so you need to make sure that you keep yourself and your loved ones very, very safe. So, yeah, with that, I will now quickly sign off and end this really long session, and leave you with a teaser, as always, of what is coming up on the next episode. In the meanwhile, like I said, please stay safe. Please wear your seatbelts and helmets, and take care of yourselves. Bye bye.